Hello and welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. I hope you're feeling absolutely incredible wherever you are today in the world and whatever day it is that you're listening to this. Today, we're going to talk about something that is a topic which I'm super passionate about. So you're going to see an even more passionate side of Sashi B today. Now, the reason why I've decided to talk about this is because recently the team and I have been working on building what's called the Coaching Club Success System. And basically what this is doing is taking all of the lessons, the learnings, the evolutions of the coaching club, all of that data, all of that information, and all of that wisdom. And we're basically creating a step-by-step process to take the women from a starting point, which is generally overwhelmed, exhausted, not looking after themselves, snapping at people around them, feeling uncomfortable in their skin, and there are many more things that come into that phase. And the step-by-step process will take them to the dream result, which is living life on your terms, feeling good in your mind and body, nourishing yourself with great foods. And if you decide to go out and have wine at the weekend, it's not because you're absolutely spent. You actually want to do it. It's an abundance choice. So this step-by-step process, which obviously will be amendable because we are wonderfully unique human beings and none of us can be put into frameworks that are rigid and that do not allow for change. But this is going to really help people to know what's next in order to get to the dream result, what the roadmap and the journey looks like, and to manage expectations. And that word expectations is what we're going to dive into today. Because as women, and obviously I don't have children, but I also do run a good business. I also have people around me that I need to support and want to support. And I have definitely fallen victim to the be a good girl, shut yourself up, do what people ask you to do, conform to other people, and kind of forget yourself as a result of that. And that was one of the main reasons why I stopped being a personal trainer, because I was constantly doing times that would suit other people, but that didn't suit me. So, and that actually meant that I was doing well over the hours that were right for me. I was burnt out all the time, couldn't get a handle of my health, couldn't get a handle of my physique. And I basically was not living life. Like every time I went on holiday, I would get ill. Every fucking time. Like even went to the Maldives for my 30th, and I was ill for like five days of that 10-day holiday. I was ill, and I was seriously ill. I had like sinusitis, and to be fair, I came back with it as well, so I wasn't fully recovered. So this is where the word expectation comes in, because some of you even have like extra things on top of that. So maybe you have multiple business, you may have children, you may have a husband, you may own a house together. And if you're in a position where the expectations are not spread, it will by default, from what we've seen in society over decades, land on the woman's lap. Okay. And it doesn't always do that. So please don't start like shooting me down, cancel culture and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But we need to look at the broad kind of picture here. And it is that generally the woman will do it all. And we often see things like, phrases that will be along the lines of, oh my God, he's looking after the kids. Isn't he great? Or, oh my God, he cooks. That's incredible. That's a rarity. And imagine if we could actually create it a norm that because we are both in this situation together, whether it be own a home or have children, it's 50-50 responsibility. But we are literally led through the paths by what we've seen our ancestors do, what we see people around us do, to forget our own needs, to serve others at the cost of self. We see this happen all the time. And these are expectations that come from society. And talking about a few of them, it's to run the house, sort the children out, make sure they're happy, make sure they're fed, make sure they're clothed, to do whatever you need to do, whether it be your business or you are in a career, you work for somebody else. And on top of that is to look a certain way. Diet culture says you are basically only accepted if you are small, if you are in good shape. There are so many things that come into it which we don't even realize. And so even if I look at my own inverted commas conditioning, so the things in my own life that I've seen and believed to have been true until I started to question myself on it. Like my mum used to go to Slimming World and all of her friends used to call it Fat Club. So then it was like, okay, so in my head, I had that like fat is not good and we need to go to a club to fight against it. Also, I remember Kate Moss was around when I was younger, so I'd look up to her as an idol. And I always remember like her cheekbones being so kind of prominent. You could see them so much, and also how skinny she was. And I even remember like looking at myself in the mirror and be like, but I don't look like that. So it's almost that it's socially acceptable, or was socially acceptable. It still is now, like that That bias is still in society, but we've obviously got people going the other way now, which is incredible. And there are arguments for and against for both. You know, we need to remember that. But what I want to talk to you about today is expectations, because we're expected to do it all, right? We're expected to look after everyone else at the cost of ourselves. We're expected to have children, have a career, and run a home, and still be happy and fucking smiling. So what happens because of this is what's called self-neglect. We go down a path where we disregard our own needs, our own wants, our own desires. We suppress our emotions. And as a result of that, we feel overwhelmed. We are craving something of an element of escapism. We don't want to speak up. We don't want to ask for help because it's not rewarded. Rewarded is basically put up and shut up. Okay. And this is why, like, people that you may see that you find are an inspiration to this, that are pretty much going against the norms. This is probably why you're compelled by them, because you can see that they're living some elements of life that you want to live. We even go down the route as the modern day woman to almost feel shame and guilt if we're considering investing in ourselves. We have to justify buying the bag. We have to justify investing into our health. We need to save all of the money that we fucking work our asses off to spend on our partners, our children, our home, but never on ourselves. And if you think about it, your mind and body is your one constant. It is like everything comes from it. How you treat the children, how present you are with them, how connected you are with your partner, how well you do in business, how clearly you can think. Everything starts with you. So investing in yourself, whether it be going for a run, that's still investing in yourself because you're investing time into yourself. Whether it be signing up to a gym and having a babysitter 3 nights a week because your partner won't be at home either. Whatever it is, we need to start turning the ship around. But how does it change? How do we create change? If what I'm saying is true, that these are basically years and years and years of monumental conditioning, of monumental, we've seen the way things are done, therefore we believe it is right. How do we create change? It doesn't just stop overnight, right? And do you believe that change comes from internal or external? Do you believe that we need to wait for everybody else to create this change in our lives? We have to create the change. We have to be the change. And my favorite, I say favorite, but it's probably my favorite 50, to be fair, because I love quotes. But one of my favorite quotes is, be the change you wish to see in the world. And if we can operate from the stance of, as a collective of women who are no longer going to fall victim to the fact that everyone fucking expects us to do everything, and that we need to always be happy and smiling, we always need to have this, facade on, we are no longer going to stand for the fact that we have to do everything. We can be the change that we wish to see in the world, because as a collective, as a community of women, some of which you want, most of which you will probably never meet, but there are women across the globe who are going into this movement. And it is your opportunity to also lean into that right now. And I just want to share 4 simple step-by-step things that I want you to consider if any of this has rang true to you, whether you have children or not, whether you run your own business or you're in a career, it doesn't matter. Circumstances don't necessarily matter now, and you can tweak everything to make them more relevant to you. The first one, remind yourself every fucking day that you are worthy of living your life too. You are not just here to be of service for everybody else. You are here to look after yourself, and you are worthy of that. Even if you saw your mum literally work herself into the ground, be here for you guys, literally so her energy was on the floor. And okay, you may see that as success because you've turned out okay, right? But do you want your children to do the same? Say if you've got a little girl, or you've got a niece or someone like that, do you want them to do the same as this? Because if not, the buck can stop with you. You can turn this ship around. And it has to come from the place of you see yourself as worthy. You see yourself as you do deserve to live a life that actually brings you joy and fulfillment too. And it doesn't mean that you are unhappy with people around you. So many women who join CC, they're like, my life is great. I've got a beautiful home. My partner's really supportive. My children are happy. I've got a great career, but I feel like shit. And this is where the kind of crossover from the one life, if you like, to the next life, the life that you want to live happens. It's when you realize that the outside things aren't going to determine your happiness. It comes from within. It comes from you working on yourself, looking after yourself and your health so that you can then feel incredible day to day. Because when you've got energy, you're happier. When you feel more comfortable in your clothes, you're happier. You're not so insecure. You're worthy of doing that for yourself. It's just about taking small steps day by day, using the following 3 things that I'm going to highlight to you that will help you to get there. The second point is to implement boundaries. Okay. And again, this is going to look different for everybody, but a boundary is basically something that is protecting you or sticking to what is right. So for example, if you're paid to work from 9 till 5, it is a piss poor boundary if you're not leaving till 6, 7, and you are allowing for that to happen. And you could come back to me and say, yeah, but my boss wants these things doing. Your boss needs to fucking pay extra or learn that you cannot take the amount of work that you have been handed. And it's not that you're a failure. This is another thing that happens here. It's not that you're a failure when you go, actually, you know what, mate, this isn't what I can handle. I can't do this. It's impossible for me to do this. And I value finishing work on time so I can pick the kids up. So we either sort that out or I'm going to go elsewhere. Okay. And if your self-worth is low, you're going to go, oh no, that couldn't happen. Like I need this job. I couldn't possibly go elsewhere because no one else would want me. Bullshit. Other ways to look at your boundaries could be that 3 times a week, you have 30 minutes in the conservatory that is you time. And it could be before the kids wake up. But if they wake up, you're like, right, you're going to go watch Paw Patrol. This is mum's time. I do not care what you say. I do not care how much you're kicking off. You're going to go and watch Paw Patrol, and mum is going to go work out in the conservatory. And this will be hard to begin because it's currently that maybe from the moment you open your eyes, you've been bombarded. So we have basically allowed for that to happen. So now as we're starting to build the brick wall of boundaries, people aren't going to like it, and kids will be one of them, but they will learn that this is just the new way of life, and that is okay. Another one could be that maybe people come in and intrude your space at home. So maybe the neighbor just comes around whenever they want, or maybe, I know, your mum-in-law pops in just whenever she wants. If this isn't what you want and it interferes with your flow of work, or maybe it's your day off and you're like, you just fucking want to relax and do something good for you, it's up to you to implement that boundary and to say it with respect. And again, we have to put our big girl pants on here because sometimes people won't like it. And that has absolutely nothing to do with you. It just maybe shines something in them that makes them feel shit about themselves. But again, that's not your responsibility. Point number 3. This is probably going to be the hardest one. Ask for help. The responsibilities at home, if you let them, can be 50%. And it could come from a conversation at home where you're like, right, okay, so this is where I'm currently at. I feel like I'm doing this. I see that you are also doing this. I'm literally drowning in what we've got to do. So how can we navigate that together as a team? We sometimes see that couples are literally like enemies. They don't work together at all. It's literally like, you did this and I did this and fuck you, like it's not enough and blah, blah, blah. Whereas actually, if you can go, right, I actually see that you do so much, but do you see that I do this too? Hopefully they'll say yes. Okay, so what can we do? Because I can't keep living like this. I'm exhausted. I'm emotional all the time. I don't feel connected to you. So you work together as a team to figure it out. Another way to ask for help is say to your kids, and obviously this will depend on age, but pick up after yourself. Your clothes are on the floor, and if you can gamify it or make it fun or link it to what they value, that's going to be a game changer. Also with asking for help, it could be delegating things at work. So kind of like what I spoke about earlier, but if you have got like a fucking monstrous list of things that you need to do and you literally cannot get it done, and you are expected to get it done in unrealistic timeframes, that's where you need to voice up. Now, side note to this, our emails never get less, right? We are always going to have a fucking bucket load. And in fact, I've gone through quite a bit of overwhelm myself recently where I'm like, I've got so much to do. But actually the timeframes, like I run my own business, right? The timeframes I'm putting on myself are put on by myself, right? So it's about kind of like navigating our own expectations, giving ourselves a break, reminding ourselves that we are worthy of only completing a certain amount of tasks each day, and then actually switch off in the evening so we can actually get some good sleep. Okay. The final one is about environment. I am so fucking hot on environment because you become the 5 people that you spend your majority of your time with. If you're surrounded by people at work who are constantly moaning about life, that will rub off on you. If you are surrounded by people who literally go and grab a Mackey's or a Greg's every lunchtime, the temptation is going to be strong, especially when your energy is dropping or you feel a bit meh, can't be fucked, maybe hormones coming into play. So if you can surround yourself by people who are aligned with where you're going, whether it be that you feel like your self-worth is lower and you're surrounded by all these people who constantly give themselves up to help other people, you're going to see the anomaly here. So we need to put you in a room full of people who are doing what you want to do, who are putting in the boundaries, who are fitting in the gym exercises despite having 3 kids, who are able to not just fucking nail a bottle of Pinot every night because they're absolutely burnt out. If we can place ourselves in the rooms of those people, our norms are going to change, right? Because we normalize our norms. What is normal to us is just normal. It's just the way it is, right? That can change. You can see that change, but it comes from you actively as an adult being responsible for the way that you want your life to go, to place yourself in different rooms. So they are the 4 points. So just a reminder, remind yourself that you're worthy of living your life too. Implement the boundaries and know it will be hard, but fucking stick by it and your life will significantly change. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether that be at home, at work, anywhere. Place yourself around other like-minded people to support the change in your journey. So I hope that's been useful. It's been a slightly different one. Obviously, last week we covered the topic around fat loss and also like how we can make some changes to our expectations, come in again, around fat loss and how we can maybe navigate the journey a little bit better to increase our results. Today, it's more about looking at the expectations that we hold on ourselves and how when these are off, when we are expecting too much from ourselves, it's no wonder we get knackered. It's no wonder we fucking hate the world. It's no wonder that we're like riddled with shame and guilt because we cannot keep up with the expectations that we hold usually on ourselves, but also the expectations that we have seen over the whole of our lives and that other people then put on us. So if you feel confused by anything, if you feel unsure about what you need to do, or if you're like, you know what, I really need to fucking get myself in the community because I cannot keep living my life like this, please do not be afraid to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, either way, and have a chat. Our doors for the coaching club are open all the time. We have a capacity of 60 women that we help. We have got space and we are taking people on. Until we reach 60, we're not going to close the doors. Okay. And there's no pressure, there's no rush at all. If it is just something that you're like, you know what, I've been watching this girl for some time. I've been seeing the results that she's been putting out and I feel like I need to make a move. Let's have a chat. And there is no expectation for you to sign up if we have a chat. It's just to figure out what is your next step. And if you then decide that you want some support and you want some help, then we can chat about that too. Have an incredible rest of your day. Remember those 4 points. And if you need to, go back through, write them down on your phone and just remind yourself of them because they are not your norms potentially. And creating change to norms will take a little bit of effort. It's definitely a skill, but you got this. Have a great day.